for our viewers, exchange rate, what is it all about? Over to you.
Very good question. It's a very, very broad one too. Now, actually, exchange rate is a very critical policy variable in the economy. People don't seem to realize it. It's always in the background. But actually, the exchange rate, which is, simply speaking, it's the price of foreign exchange. We can call it the price of foreign exchange. For instance, when we talk of the exchange rate of taka and the dollar, what it is really is the price of $1. Like prices of all other products, the price of foreign exchange also is determined by demand and supply of foreign exchange. The exchange rate is also the price of foreign exchange. In this case, it can be a US dollar, it can be a pound sterling, it can be a euro. Now, most international transactions, payments for international trade are done in US dollar. Now, about 70% of international transaction is done in the US dollar. It's a bit lower than the 80% plus that used to be transacted in US dollar before the global financial crisis of 2008. Now we have, other pound sterling, euro, and even the Chinese renminbi has entered into these international transactions. But the dollar predominates by and large. Now, how is the exchange rate relevant for the Bangladesh economy? Having a stable exchange rate is very critical. It reflects that what is the current state of the economy, the domestic side of the economy, as well as the external side of the economy. If there are imbalances on the external side, or even in the domestic economy, that will be reflected in the exchange rate. The exchange rate could be unstable, it can go up and down. If an economy has, let's say, very serious problems on the external side, for instance, balance of trade is going into deficit, or there is a debt situation which is getting out of hand, not sustainable, then that will be reflected on the exchange rate. Likewise, in the domestic economy, if you have fiscal deficits that are unsustainable, the government is spending much more than it is mobilizing in terms of revenue, and domestic demand is outstripping supply of goods and services, it eventually reflects on the exchange rate as well. It affects domestic prices, of course, but the exchange rate is not going to be what it is. But thankfully, I think the government of Bangladesh, particularly Bangladesh Bank, which is responsible for managing the exchange rate, has done a pretty decent job of maintaining a fairly stable exchange rate for the past few years. The idea that the exchange rate is stable also tells us something about the state of the economy, which means that the macroeconomic fundamentals in the economy are in good shape. If you have imbalances, either external or internal, then the exchange rate can be stable. It's going to be, a bit messy. Yeah. So we have some good, all the talk about Bangladesh economy having maintained good macroeconomic balance for the last 25 years plus. Prudent macroeconomic management, I think one can say.